What is up, everybody? Random Random Man here, bringing you my review for Kong, Skull Island. Now, the plot basically follows a team of scientists, a photojournalist, and some Vietnam War soldiers who head off to an uncharted island in the Pacific Ocean where they encounter terrifying creatures, including the king of all the monsters there, Kong. Now, going into this film, I was pretty pumped. This is the supposed second entry in the monster universe that Legendary has set up, first with Godzilla back in 2014, which I did enjoy, and now is going to be followed up with Kong as we have gotten now. This film is directed by Jordan Vogt-Roberts, who has previously done the independent coming-of-age dramedy The Kings of Summer, which I really enjoyed. Plus, the cast involved with this film is pretty stacked, so that got me excited too. With the performances in this huge ensemble cast, I would say that everyone does a fine job for the most part, and that's what I'm saying, fine. They really don't get much to do aside from what their characters are set up to be, which I'll get into more within the writing, but you do have a really high-profile cast in this film. Tom Hiddleston, Samuel L. Jackson, John Goodman, Brie Larson, Jing Tian, Toby Kebbell, Corey Hawkins, Jason Mitchell, Thomas Mann, and John C. Reilly among people. So you do expect a lot of really talented faces on the big screen, which you do get in turn. In terms of how these characters are written, most of them do have distinct traits of themselves that make them stand out. Like John Goodman and Corey Hawkins are the ones that get the plot going in the first place. Tom Hiddleston is a former Special Air Service agent. Brie Larson is a photojournalist and a peace activist. Samuel L. Jackson is a lieutenant colonel. Those kind of people are interesting until they really don't get much to do throughout the rest of the film except just avoid all the monsters, plus half of the cast end up becoming red shirts in the end. To me, it wasn't until the introduction of John C. Reilly's character where the characters do get more tolerable as the film goes on, despite still not having that much to do. Reilly plays a World War II fighter pilot who gets shot down on Skull Island and has been there for almost 3 decades. He brings a lot of the nice humor to this film. Once our cast does head off to Skull Island, it is undeniable for how stunning this movie is. The color palette makes this very reminiscent of the classic film Apocalypse Now, which, hey, this movie takes place at the tail end of the Vietnam War, so it is very fitting for this 1970s era setting. Speaking of the 1970s, we do get some popular songs from the 1970s playing in the background of this film. And while there's a lot of it used in the movie, it's never too intrusive, never too little to even add on to the movie's atmosphere. The atmosphere still is really gorgeous with all the foliage, the environment, the design of some of the creatures themselves are really unique. Kong himself, our title character, does look really awesome once we are introduced to him, and his introduction gets the action going. And it's probably the most memorable scene of the movie to me because we see how much of a force Kong is to be reckoned with in this flick. Jordan Vogt-Roberts does a really nice job directing the action here. It is kind of similar to how other action directors do focus in on some of the scenes that they would make themselves, but what Vogt-Roberts does is switch it up a bit at times to make it fast-paced but also unpredictable too. Some jump scares are used here and there, but it was never enough to be like, we have to go through this again, or it goes to too cliche of levels, because the energy for this film just kept on brimming. This film runs along at an even pace at just around 2 hours. I was never bored. I never felt like it ran too fast or too slow. All in all, this was a really thrilling, fun time at the movies with monster movie flair. Yeah, it could have been more tightly written. The characters could have been more identifiable with themselves for me to care about them, though there was no one lead character to care about anyway. But when the action does get into play, how we are treated to some really nice visuals, the pacing, the aesthetics everywhere. Basically how this whole film comes together, it is an absolute blast of a viewing experience. I think I enjoyed this about as much as a 2014 Godzilla film. There is a post-credit scene involving a little somebody that King Kong may fight in the future. King Kong has certainly been around the realm of cinema for many, many years now, between the classic film from 1933 to its 2005 remake directed by Peter Jackson to this 2017 reimagining. I think that Kong Skull Island is a different enough of an experience that makes it really pleasing to audiences. I know I had a very nice time with it. I definitely recommend it. My final verdict for Kong Skull Island is 4 out of 5 stars. Thank you all, as always, for watching. Be sure to like this video, comment on what you thought of Kong Skull Island, subscribe to my channel for more, and I'll catch you on the next movie review.